Welcome back to EpistemiX. I am once again joined by Sabur Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. So Sabur, we're going to be talking about an interesting topic today, and we're going to be doing it a bit different because I'm going to play the audience. I have no clue what you're going to be talking about. You mentioned it earlier. I don't know the title. I don't even remember what you said, but we're going to discuss it because you said it's an important topic to discuss.
Yep.
But before we go into that, I want to ask you.
And look, you got to act like, even if you get it, just act like you don't get it.
I'll probe you in the right way, inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay, look, before we get into that, I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
You've been growing your beard out in a slightly different way than usual.
I'm not. It's just growing. It's just
the curls on the sides.
No, it's I don't know. It's roots that it takes.
Is there an evolutionary explanation for why men grow beards, or something you've come across in your research?
There might be.
I haven't come across anything.
I haven't come across anything, but I'm sure they can come up with a just so story for that.
Okay, so we'll probably ask you again in the next.
I don't know. You can say, the women preferred it, so there's sexual selection going on, which is, this type of evolutionary pressure, which is why men with the mutations, they're more likely to have facial hair, are going to be prevalent, and women obviously.
So what are your reasons for growing it in the way you're growing it at the moment?
I just like,
because I know you like the curls at the side.
No, it just curls itself. It curls itself, But I have been asked to trim it, but I'm like, no. Actually, I don't say no in that way, but
fair enough. Okay, so bro, let's get into the topic. We've got about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
What was the title of the topic you wanted to discuss first and foremost?
So, what I wanted to speak about was evolutionary reliabilism.
Okay.
Bit of a new term for maybe some people.
Yeah.
But it's very, very well understood in academia. So, I want to break it down to a very simple, and I try and do this with evolutionary morality and other topics. I just try and break it down to the bare bones.
Yeah.
Because we're not here to, get into those deep academic discussions that, no one really understands. We're trying to keep it.
We want it to be beneficial.
We want to keep it in a way that is usable.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So here's a simple way of putting the point across. I am the product, not of God, but I am the product of a process which is imperfect.
Okay.
In the sense that my mind and my body and everything, these have been shaped by natural selection, evolved to help me survive.
Okay.
Something helping you survive doesn't mean it can help you achieve truth. These are two different things.
Yep.
So the way that philosophers have actually defined the distinction between these two things is there is truth reliability and there is fitness reliability.
Okay.
So truth reliability is that your cognitive faculties can arrive at truth. Fitness reliability is that your cognitive faculties are selected to help you basically survive and reproduce, or those things that help you survive and reproduce.
Sure.
And the issue here is that you can actually survive upon false beliefs and true beliefs. So natural selection doesn't really care what's true or false. It just cares what works, what helps you survive. So you have truth reliability, fitness reliability. The reason why this distinction is important is because when you raise the topic of if atheism is true, if there is no God, because obviously we have a theistic evolutionary account, and of course that theistic evolutionary account, you can explain our faculties being reliable. I'm talking about a naturalistic, atheistic evolutionary account. According to that, our minds do, at best, they can give us fitness reliability, not truth reliability. And often these are conflated, which is why these have actually philosophically been separated as two different categories.
So let me now put that in lay terms, just so I've understood it properly as well. So what you're saying is that if we assume that we have been thrown out by this process of evolution acted upon by natural selection,
Yep.
then we everything about us,
Yep.
everything about our makeup as a human being,
Our anatomy,
including our
behavior.
rational faculties
Yep.
and our ability to reason and think, is governed by these processes, right? Or is a result
Shape.
of the shape
Yep.
by these processes,
Yep.
and therefore they have to comply to the objective, if you like, of the whole idea of evolution and natural selection, which is survival, right? So therefore everything about our being, including our rational faculties, have to be geared towards survival and reproduction.
Yes.
And therefore, when it comes to us thinking and trying to understand the world, it's not, our faculties are not designed to understand and interpret and gain truth, but they're designed to survive.
Yes.
And that means whether it's a true belief or a false belief or somewhere in the middle, it's all about, does it lead to survival?
Yep.
So it's not about truth.
Yeah. So, that's a good way of sort of putting it. Now, there is one small nuance that you have to acknowledge, which is that you have different evolutionary pressures. You have developmental and embryonic and other type of constraints. You have unbreakable genetic linkages and whatnot. So you have byproducts. So you have behaviors and beliefs and other sorts of things which are like, so it's not that every single thing has to be there for survival and reproduction. Fundamentally, that's the ideal situation, and that's the best inference that they could make from that.
Sometimes
natural
things
selection.
go wrong. And
Yeah, I mean, not sometimes. I mean, it does happen,
Yeah.
right? It's clear. In fact, selection without constraints wouldn't really make sense. It'd be meaningless, right? So, okay. So let me put it in this way. Natural selection works on quick, dirty solutions.
Okay.
It doesn't always give you direct solutions. It does indirect solutions. So when it comes to, say, kin selection, right? I'm just going to give you a little, and we can obviously extrapolate this to reason and extrapolate this to anatomy, but I thought this was quite powerful. So one of the ways that human benevolence, human empathy, human sympathy is explained is by this process. So we're all out there to be selfish, right? And we just care about our own survival. Now, we care about people who we are related to because they carry our genes. So when we care about our relatives, we don't really care about them. We just care that they carry our genes. Or, I mean, if we're to take a really hardcore view on it, we don't really know what's going on. This is actually the selfish genes which are controlling us, right? They created us according to the selfish gene view in mind and body. So we're just, they're replicating and we're just hosts for them, right? Now, with kin selection, say I have kin and I care for them because I am related to them. That's why I care for them, not for them in of themselves. Now, one of the ways they explain it, and it's quite obviously there's no evidence for this, it's just a very intelligent way of trying to explain it. If you believe the theory is true and you need to shoehorn the data, then this is a good way of doing it. So one of the ways they do it is they say, so you care about your kin. You care about your kin. Now, natural selection, instead of telling you care about your kin, care about your brother, sister, cousin, father, mother, it says care about the people around you, because those people around you were most likely to be your kin in ancient tribal societies. So you can see where this is going. So rather than us having the evolutionary instinct or whatever to take care of our kin, it became over a period of time a quick dirty solution natural selection worked out is just take care of those people around you. Now, as people moved away from these close-knit tribal societies, which is the way people lived. So when you look at a tribe, they're all related to each other. And the closer you are to your home, the closer your relatives are, and the further away, the further, genetic similarities you have with the people on further from you. So natural selection worked out this quick thing, which is take care of the people around you. Now, when those people moved into urban places, and you have neighbors who may be of complete different ethnic backgrounds, people you may be completely unrelated to.
Yep.
Natural selection still has that quick, dirty solution is still in force, which is take care of those people around you. So now we happen to care about neighbors and friends and these people that we interact with.
Yeah.
Initially, we actually just cared about our kin, and this is a runaway process. So this wasn't the intention
Yeah.
of natural selection. It was a sort of mistake that we moved away. So rather than taking care of our kin, we're taking care of non-kin.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough. So going back to understanding that, going back to our point, which is that our faculties of reason are not geared towards truth, but they're geared towards survival. How does that point that you just made now fit in with this understanding? So you're saying sometimes, so what they may say is that, over time, we've ended up focusing on truth. How would they explain it in this scenario?
Okay.
Or how do they try to explain it?
So here's a way that it can be explained, right? And remember, when we're saying explained, it doesn't, because a lot of people conflate the idea that there's an explanation for something, meaning that is the truth. No, it's just an inference, a just so story, a possible
of course.
Thing, right? So there's a universal human phenomena which is hard to deny, which is that we care about truth. Truth is something we value. We actually value it. So why do we value truth?
Yeah.
The way this analogy with kin selection and natural selection, doing that quick dirty solution and then that affecting non-kin, is with truth, true beliefs are likely to help you survive.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Right?
Yeah.
So then we're rather than natural selection telling us just care about those things that help you survive, there may be an affinity of us liking truth because we're more likely to survive upon truth. So therefore we've developed this taste for truth.
Okay.
Right? It's like a quick dirty solution. It's better to believe in truth and you're more likely to survive. I mean, of course there is that argument. I'm not denying the fact that if you have true beliefs, you're more likely to survive. That's undeniable.
Yeah.
No one really denies that. But that doesn't account for the fact that you can also survive on false beliefs, and there may be false beliefs which are so entrenched in your worldview that you don't notice them.
Yeah.
And secondly, you haven't actually given a proper account of truth. You've given a fake account.
Yeah.
So let me bring that back to the analogy of the kin selection runaway process, right? When someone says you're taking care of your daughter because she's carrying your genes, the first reaction you're going to obviously have to that is, that's absurd, right? I love her for her own sake.
Yeah.
It's not somehow she's carrying my genes. She might be, for example, she may grow up, become of age that she can marry, and she may be barren, right? Does that mean you discard her?
Yeah.
My God, took care of you 20 years, good for nothing. You're not going to pass on my genes now, right? You're still going to take care of her. In fact, you probably love her more than before, right? So, where was I? About reliability.
So basically, you were trying to show that how...
Oh, yeah,
truth.
yeah. So that's a false account. When someone says, this is account of morality, it's a false thing.
Yeah.
So why do you take care of neighbors? Well, actually, we were supposed to take care of our kins because of this, which doesn't make sense. But now we have this quick, dirty solution, so we're taking care of our non-kin.
Yeah.
Apply this to truth. Oh, we don't really care about truth. What it is that it helped us survive, and therefore if us liking true beliefs over false beliefs, not for truth in of itself, but because it helps you survive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, it's a false account. It's not really giving a proper account.
Also, like, I think Anthony O'Hare, I think that's how his name's pronounced. He's got a book called Beyond Evolution.
Yes.
He mentions this in his book as well.
Yeah.
I remember coming across this a
Birds
few years
and
ago.
caterpillars, yeah.
Yeah, and what sort of stuck with me from then was that sometimes you can even argue, I would say, that sometimes false beliefs are more easier on the intellect, that they would help you survive. more so than true belief sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, as an example, which is, I mean, he uses the example of caterpillars and birds, but let's bring it to us.
Yeah.
Here's a false belief which is very comforting.
Yeah.
Right? So we have this tendency of human beings to care for other people, right? And we care for them, and we, like, for example, we don't want people in our family to pass away. We don't want these things, right? Now, a comforting false belief is everybody dies and everybody goes to paradise.
Yeah.
Everything is perfect. Everything is good. Everything is, everyone's going to meet up there and it's all going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Right? I can see a Darwinist trying to make an argument for why paradise or the belief in the hereafter exists.
Yeah.
But then a counterfactual to that would be, well, if we want to purely accept comforting false beliefs like this, false beliefs from their perspective, then why is it that we also have the belief in hell? That we have the belief that you have to work for paradise, right? That if it was just purely comforting, religious beliefs were purely comforting, then why would we have this concept of, even say in the Abrahamic religions, that you have to give up your desires, you have to give up wrong things, you have to give up things that may be easier for you. So why is it that we like uncomfortable truths or uncomfortable beliefs?
I would even say that sometimes to try and get to the truth of something is more taxing and more or less economical.
It can make us unhappy.
Yeah, and on top
And
of
we
it,
still do
it's
it.
counter to survival. Because imagine, for example, let's take a hypothetical situation. Say you're in a forest, and there's some insects with red markings on their bodies that are poisonous, and some aren't. Right? It's much easier to assume all insects with red markings on their bodies are poisonous, and therefore avoid all insects, which is a false belief.
Yep.
But it's much easier, it's much more economical and easier to process and to survive from that perspective than to assume, let me sit there and analyze which ones are and which ones aren't and try to figure it out. Do you see, sometimes those things take much more time when you're trying to attain truth. If it was all about survival, it would be just that quick fix. Minimum dose. Just assume all of it's this. That's a good enough belief. It's a false belief, but
hasty generalizations.
It'll help me survive, right? So that should be the sort of outcome of the human intellect. But what we see human beings doing, bro, and touch upon this, is that not only do human beings worry about truth from the perspective of survival, right, and how it may be a bit more alluring because normally true beliefs would more readily help you survive, but we've gone further. We're more interested in discovering, what's happening in space, doing physics, studying mathematics.
Uncomfortable beliefs as well. We don't mind trying to find
exactly.
those,
and sometimes these professors, let's face it, they don't care about marriage or kids. They just want to be with their blackboard and do their calculations because that's what drives them. Now that
doesn't help you survive in reproduction.
Take a person who was astronauts, bro. Yeah, they're sitting in a rocket ship. They're going to be launched into space with thousands of gallons and tons of rocket fuel underneath them. They are so passionate about discovering what's going on out there and learning the truth about the universe. They couldn't care about their survival. They don't even know if they're going to come back, right? So how do you account for this now? Something's not really adding up from that perspective. What would you think about human beings having this higher level of faculty to not only just deal with truths which may aid with survival, right, but to now study the universe and all of these additional things, which
you see, that is explained from a perspective that we care about truth in of itself as a final, not as a means to something, but as an end. We care about truth. But if the Darwinian picture is anything to go by, then that's not the case. It doesn't make sense that we want to and I find it funny that the same people who promote we need to find the truth for like atheists, right? They claim that we want to find the truth. At the same time, they also accept Darwinism when that diminishes the actual value of truth. It's basically a collective myth that following truth is a good thing. It's a collective myth, right? As long as you survive, that's all that you should really care about from a Darwinian point of view.
From what you've said, it seems like from that perspective, what we do know is that true as well as false beliefs, regardless of what the percentages are, which one's more effective, both are adequate in resulting or aiding in survival.
Yeah.
Right. That's something we do know, right? Now, whereas the whole idea of our true beliefs are more so, therefore we choose them and we favor them. All of these are what you're saying, sort of.
They're explaining away.
Yeah.
We value truth, full stop, as an end in of itself.
Yeah.
And when you give these sort of explanations, you're explaining away the value of truth. You're not explaining it. In the same way, when you give a really silly account of we care, it's to a child's benefit. It's to a parent's benefit that their child is adopted, right? Because somebody else raises the child, they use up their resources, and the mother can basically have more children. These things, they do not explain morality. They explain it away. They don't explain rationality or truth. They explain it away. So I think that's a good point to end upon, because we want to give people tools that, look, even though we may have these long discussions about this debate and that debate and cosmological and contingency and whatnot, the fact is we both agree truth is valuable. So let's start there. Who gives a better account for truth being valuable? Atheism or theism? Atheism, the best you have is Darwinism, in which way truth is purely instrumental. Here, truth, according to the Islamic point of view, is intrinsically valuable. Why? Because Allah, God, is the truth, Al-Haq, the truth, and we value truth because He has created us so we can arrive at truth, and He's created within us the fitrah, the natural inclination to follow the truth.
Brilliant.
We have a coherent explanation.
Yes.
They have an incoherent explanation.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to end the video. Thank you for coming on. Now, if you guys have enjoyed this particular episode, what I want you guys to do is continue the discussion in the comment section below. Leave your thoughts, leave your suggestions. If you have questions for Sabur, leave them there as well. He does check the comments, I believe, on some of these videos. Make sure you leave your comments below. Click the subscribe button, subscribe. Make sure to share the video. And until next time, take care.